Gone very slow. It says we're live. Okay. Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Mindset Explosions Season 3. We're on our next episode today or this evening. I've been joined by the lovely Philip Jordan.
Hello, mate. You all right?
So, owner of, you got quite a few different businesses, haven't you?
That's right. Yeah. I know you via the bid.
Yep.
Those businesses in Cheltenham are Coco, a cocktail bar, under the Prom, the nightclub, and Moves and Shakers, like a wedding bar and mobile bar events company. There are some other businesses in property and consultancy as well, but I suppose those are the main ones that you and I know of for each other.
Yeah, definitely. And first of all, thanks for coming on tonight. So we're going to talk about having an open mindset, the benefits of that. And like you said, obviously I met you through being on the bid, really. And I've probably learned more since following you on Facebook, Philip, to be honest. So during lockdown, it's funny that, because I guess we're focused on, not really focused on each other, and we're having a bid meeting, but the wonderful things that go on in and around Cheltenham. So it caught my eye because obviously you're in the hospitality sector, and everyone's been knocked. We were talking about it really quick just before we come on air. And it caught my eye on some of the stuff that you're doing. And I just felt, oh, this guy is not going to be beat by this. And as, again, like listening to you just now, is like, it seems like your priority has been not so much yourself, but as much the people that you have working for you and some of your business partners as well. And you've kind of it was almost like, we'll find a way somehow to kind of get through this. And I feel personally, on all the stuff that I've done over the years, having that open mindset, it can open the door to, so many things. So yes. So kind of, if we can go back to when that news first happened,
Okay.
we can talk a little bit about, and I expect most people are going to relate to it. So what was kind of going through your head?
Yeah. Well, during this time, my mindset has changed a lot. I think for a lot of businesses, not just hospitality, I think every business, no one really knew what was happening. Whatever your political affiliation, whether you believe Boris and team have done right or wrong, I think whatever party was there would be in a very difficult situation, and they would be taking advice from lots of people. And I think the advice they'll be taking won't actually be their decision. So they're having to act on, government advice from different bodies, particularly in the medical areas. And they're making decisions, and I think to save lives is really important. And now we're at this crossroads where saving lives is still very important, but the effects of businesses not being able to operate, how that affect people mentally, how it affect the economy, and obviously those secondary effects might have a bigger implication to losses of lives and people's quality of life than, say, if lots of people catch the virus. From my perspective, with regards to businesses, yeah, it's been really tough. I know a lot of businesses in hospitality, particularly independents, have really felt the pinch. I think that we do feel at times we haven't been supported enough, but how much support can you give? How do you know what to do? I don't think until they know exactly what's happening or what path we're going down, what trajectory, how much they can give, and whether tranches of grants and things like that will help. There are what they did with the initial furlough system and grants and things like that were fantastic. Giving quick access to bounce back loans and things like that for businesses, if used in the right way, was a fantastic thing. And obviously we've used that money to manage our creditors. We've paid all our rent up until December. And we've had to pivot our business, and obviously for quite some time we weren't able to open. We then, the legislative changes meant that we could operate for parties of 30 people with restrictions in place, and that really worked for us in August and September. We had lots of birthday parties, wedding receptions, gender reveal parties for mothers and fathers, bar mitzvah of all things, and they worked really, really well. Actually, August and September were great for us. And then we had 38 bookings in place for October, and you know, overnight with the decision that was made for the 10 p.m. curfew, we lost all of those bookings in 3 days. Now, it was incredibly frustrating, the amount of time taken to get those bookings, you know, the time invested to speak to people, bring people to the venue, show them what we can do, manage their expectations with catering if we wanted to work with a caterer to provide something for that particular party, specialized menus, specialized drinks, training for the team, you know, all things that take a lot of time. And then overnight they were, you know, redundant essentially. That you know, October would have been very, very healthy, and then overnight October wasn't. When that announcement came out on the Monday, it was actually the day before I was due to have some surgery, so I was apprehensive about the situation anyway, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to work in the normal way. And that Monday I was quite angry. Tuesday I shed a few tears, and then the Wednesday, you know, I was like, well, what am I going to do? What are we going to do as you know, with my business partner, people that I work with? I've got responsibility here to try and be the best that I can, find a solution to this current situation. If you focus, I think, on what you can't do, you're always going to get frustrated. You know, you're never going to get anywhere. But if you can focus what you can do, and, you know, and try and pivot your business, pivot your strategy to fit with that, you know, we've got some events that are coming up at under the Prom, which has always been a nightclub, has always been, you know, famously the latest place to stay open with a 6 a.m. license, and we've had to change what we're doing. We've got booking events that start next week that include a themed afternoon tea concept that has which is called Down the Rabbit Hole, that is inspired by I was going to say Mary Poppins there, but it's not Mary
Alice in Wonderland,
Poppins. Because it's inspired by Alice in Wonderland, and it's that theme, right? And we put something together with a catering company that we work with closely, and we're really excited about it. The interest has been incredible. We're already 70% sold after starting to release tickets on Friday for the Saturday next week, and Sunday is about 25% at present. So really excited about that. Really excited to launch different things. So we'll start with that. Then the following weekend we'll do more than one session, because we're only doing one session on each day on Saturday and Sunday. The following week after that, we've got a week-long party for our first business that my business partner, Ross, got, and it would actually be their 10th anniversary for Coco. So, like most women, no disrespect intended, have a birthday week. We are going to have a birthday week for her as well. And that basically allows us to cater for everyone that would usually come. It's only a 100 capacity bar. Last year, over 400 people came in one night. So our intention is to do sessions for people to be able to come and enjoy drinks, for us to spend some time with them, see people that we haven't seen regularly, people that, you know, have championed and supported us for years. Is that what we would normally do? No, it's not. You know, have we had to change the way that the venue is? How are we going to have to, you know, work on with the team about how we're going to do that service? Have we had to invest heavily on our risk assessment and things like that? Of course. But we, you know, what choice do we have? So after that, November, we're looking at 2 other concepts that we're putting together. So I'm quite confident that on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we'll now have 3 or 4 different sessions where we'll be able to fill the venue with different types of events. Yes, it will be more labor intensive. You know, we're going to have a lot more team members on that will be able to facilitate table service, where usually it's just bar service. But that's just the way it is. Every business is experiencing that. So we've just got to change the model slightly, and the packages we'll put together will hopefully add value for the guests, and it will make it viable for us to operate as a business. So, you know, I've had little wobbles over this time. I've been supported a lot by my friends, my family, my girlfriend, and so on. But, you know, what I think, if you sit on your pity party, and I think that's a term that I've started to come across when I started to get involved with property investment, and you moan about the situation, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, and I did have a couple of, during lockdown, there was a couple of days where I was like, all day I was in a funk, and I'd go for a run and come back. I still wasn't quite right. I'd meditate a little bit and still wasn't right. But you just formulate a plan, try and keep yourself clear in your mind, try and think about the end goal. And as I say, if you try and think about what you can't do, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's just trying to focus on what we can do, you know. And I think everyone's in the same boat. I've been incredibly impressed with what in such a difficult time, what this situation has cultivated. I'm involved with a group called Turf. Turf is all the independent bars and restaurants in town. I've never ever seen the collectiveness and cohesion between these bars and restaurants like I have now. People sharing team members, people sharing PPE, people sharing cooking equipment. When people are fully booked, contacting other people that aren't booked, being able to pass them on to other people. So there has been a real collectiveness and a real family feel to what has been created with Turf. I'm really proud to be part of that. You know, and I'm hoping that this will continue and be able to grow. And I think because we're now, you know, we're a collective group, we've been able to, our voice has grown. You know, we had Pac, who is the owner of Bar and Wok. He kindly arranged for us to meet at his restaurant with some local MPs, and we were able to voice our opinions on what we think the hospitality industry needs. You know, do we need support from the insurers? Absolutely, we do. Do we, you know, but do the government will have to push that? Do the changes to the furlough system help? Well, it's great that there's something there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being ungrateful, but realistically, looking at what any normal business person would do with their business, the new furlough system, I think it isn't going to encourage people to keep people, because there's that cost there. Other ways that, you know, that people highlighted things, you know, with 10 p.m. curfew. Now, some restaurants and some venues have, you know, it hasn't been so much of a hit for them. You know, and they've adapted. You know, Matt, who owns Bar Padron, he's been very clever with the way that he's now scheduled his times for people to come in, and you know, people are limited to shorter amounts of time than they usually would. But I think the customer base is understanding of that. You know, but I've been really impressed with how many people have a similar mindset on this. These independent business owners, they're so positive. They really want to help. There's a lot of people that I think are far more talented than me in terms of their experience, their knowledge. When we were at this meeting with the politicians on Friday, Ed, who owns the railway, the Strand, and the Vine, his knowledge of, you know, everything that's happening with COVID and all the restrictions was unparalleled. He was like an Encyclopedia Britannica, and I was like the Fisher Price version. But he was really impressive. But you know, there's some really great characters on there that have all that same mentality. David Ormer as well. He's very much like that. He's such an analytical mind. Lynn, who is at the heart of everything we do with social media, and she is the owner of the Cleve Hotel. But actually, it's I think, like you were talking about mindset here and how to keep yourself level. I think not being on your own and having this group that is just constantly picking you up, picking each other up, trying to be as positive as possible, informing each other, is such a good thing. And I think that's certainly helped me. I like to think of myself as a very positive person, but we all have moments, don't we? You know, I'm sure that, you know, with your business and how you've had to pivot, and you've pivoted really impressively. I'm sure there are times that you got your head in your hands and you're upset about it, and you want to point fingers and you want to, you know, express blame, but where does that get you? It doesn't get you anywhere.
No. And you said it at the beginning. Well, it's cut of things, loads from that really, because I think the key is there. It's okay to have that day where you just think, oh, what the hell is going on? I think if we can vent out some way and it's safe, and you exhaust that part of your brain. I don't know if you've read the chimp paradox, but it's exhausted. Yeah, exactly right. So it's exhausted out. Now I can start asking the right questions, which is obviously what you did. As in, right, how do I make this work?
Yeah,
and focusing, and it is all about that. I feel that when you ask the right questions of us, well, whatever you ask, you're going to get. So we might as well ask, how am I going to sort this out? How am I going to look after staff? How am I going to, improve the situation? I'm a nightclub. That means I can't open at nights. Well, we're going to be a day club. So I think that's amazing. Yeah. So, and I love that. I love the turf concept. Collaborations just work so well. And it's like you got this team now, superpower. So, but if you were all the same, it would probably work. But it's good that you have got those different. It's like a Justice League for Cheltenham hospitality, really. And it is, because you all come together, and And I think it can only be good for the town, and it's good for people, it's good for the businesses, the good people that work there, and all the clients, the customers, because in a way, oh my God, I think I'd envy it, because well, we're doing this with like, you can only make the experience for all of you, for customers, for the clients that come through those doors, better. And I think, isn't that a good thing? Especially coming out of this, like, because what's the first things we want to do is, I need to get out with my friends and socialize and sit down and have a meal. And if there, and you can see people have worked so hard when I've been out around the town, working so hard to keep it clean, keep follow all these new rules, and track and trace. You can really see it. And it's, do you know what? I quite like the fact that I wouldn't have to get up from my table now.
Yeah, do you know what?
I'm lazy. I'm all the time so lazy, Phil. I like that. I loved it when I used to go to the States. And I'm not getting up. So hopefully it can own, there's a lot to learn. But
I think that's a very positive thing. When I go out, before COVID, I like to sit. I'm not one of the people want to stand at a bar, and I do like to be served. I'm not because I'm being lazy, or I think I have a opinion of myself that I'm more important than someone who's serving me. But I like that as an experience. I don't mind paying a premium for that. Because I think it's a great concept, and I think it could really work for a lot of venues. I think what some of these venues find difficult, and it's one of the things that we brought up at the meeting with the local MPs, was that the constant changing environment of what is and isn't acceptable in terms of how you do what you do, how you serve, how many people could be at tables, do they have to scan, do they have to wear masks, do they not? And it is tough, but I think fortunately, and I feel very fortunate that I've got, I've made a lot of friends and acquaintances in my time as a business owner with a bar and nightclub, that everyone that's come to the venues has been very understanding of what we're going through, and we haven't had people moan or complain. And I've been so wowed by people that have, again, that essentially our regular client base, who've always been in touch, and just they perk you up, and anything new you're trying to do, they champion it. It's that's great as well. I think we're all in this situation. We're all in it together. And I think if we can all try and be as positive and supportive and understanding of each other, irrespective of what business you're in, whether you're a fireman, a policeman, you work in a bank, whatever it is, we're all affected in some way, shape or form, and I think we just have to be patient with one another, because it is something that's never happened before. But yeah, just staying on point with your mindset. And I'm very lucky that a lot of people that I am close to, I work with, or my business partners are very similar in nature. So if something negative does come up, or one of us can see something in someone else where they do seem upset, or they do need a bit of support, a virtual hug or whatever it is, it's important to do. I think I never used to post much on Facebook and Instagram, and I've become more vocal on it, and because I want to try, and I think by speaking out, it's like people speaking out about, say, if they've lost someone, they've had a bereavement of some sort. I think it's much better to be open about it. There's no shame in tears. There's no shame in being, feeling sad about something. There's no shame in writing a status about, that this has happened, but this is what you're going to do to champion the situation and make it better. I think that's really important. So that's why I think I've become more vocal. So I hope that by being more vocal, it maybe, encourages other people maybe to think like that too. If they do, they don't. But I certainly get inspired by people that I see statuses from, yourself and all sorts of people that I'm close to. I haven't seen much negativity, and I think it's just important to be open about how you're feeling and what you're trying to do. And I've even seen people that have, maybe not be business owners, but changing the way they work, and I think where before maybe I would have liked something, now I'll make a real effort to comment on what someone is doing, and like, well done, you know what I mean, and keep going and do it. I think it's important to do that and just try and breed positivity.
Yeah, I like that attitude, definitely. And I've noticed it with your social media as well. And I think it actually, funny enough, I think it's even made me think and yourself, what you've been kind of pushed out of social media, because it has made me think in that context. Because I always felt like, people got to look up to me, and I guess, and they do, but showing it's not always, yay, I'm not always bouncing around a room, but I don't want to be negative as well. So yeah, but balance.
That's it. I think if you can try and be the best version of you, I think I used to be, I didn't always used to be like this. I think I remember when I rewrite my goals every day. Everything. It's the first thing I do in the morning. I always get up at 5 where I can, as much as I can do during the week and at the weekends. I rewrite my goals every day. And I think when I was at school, I'd write my goals as in New Year's resolutions. And, within a week they've stopped, and then nothing comes of it. And then later on, maybe I would always start my new goals on a Sunday. And maybe, let's say if it was something about, I was training for a certain, maybe training to improve my physique in some way, shape or form. And I'd get to Wednesday and maybe I'd have had a really naughty day. And what I used to have done was be like, oh, well, actually, I could probably I've gone off, hit the rails now. So I could probably do what I want tomorrow, the next day. And then I'll just wait till Sunday to restart. And now what I try and do is try and reframe every day, or any time that there's a roadblock that either I need to go around, go under, go through, go round, and try and reframe my mind, on it. It's not always immediate, but I think I've got better. I'm more emotionally intelligent than I used to be. I think this situation has made us more emotionally resilient. I think it's quite a big thing, and I think we're all under this pressure to adapt. And I don't think, I think in life, I think the difficult things you experience, the things that grow your character, the easy times, they're great, when you're winning and that. But I don't think it builds you as a person.
No, it doesn't. No, you need to. I think it's going to sound a bit weird. I think I've done well because I've lost quite a few times.
Yeah.
I missed the hoop a few times, right?
Yeah,
but still aiming for it.
Absolutely, and yeah. I think that's I think to me that's critical, and I think the things that have challenged me most personally are the things that have made me grow the most. I think 2005, my dad passed away, and I think I was a very different person before then. I wasn't a bad person, but I wasn't anywhere near as focused or as driven, or I probably didn't make as much time for my family as I should have, or my friends. I was probably a bit flaky with things, and now it's maybe changed in a lot of ways. And I think this is a pause. This isn't going to be forever. It isn't. And even if this virus is around for forever or a prolonged period, we will find a way to overcome it. And then something else will come. That is just how it is. Life is like that. But I just think you just need to always maintain that mindset and that can-do attitude, and not trying to focus on or get upset about what you can't do. Because if I'd done that, I'd have gone off the rails now. I'd be hanging somewhere. And I don't mean that in a facetious way. Christ,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
that's a big thing. I've had friends who've committed suicide, not recently, in my time. And it's terrible, but I think being open, communicating and being positive on social media like that, I think it really helps. I think it helps, people look at you differently and maybe get something from what you're trying to promote. And I think that, that's critical. And I think that's really become important to me. I always quite look forward to, communicating about what we've done as businesses, what I've done maybe personally. And I'm always looking forward to seeing what people have done in a similar way for themselves, or whether they work or whatever.
I find it inspiring as well, because I've been seeing you've been doing a lot with your property stuff. I found that really inspiring, because it's not something I've been into. Wow. So it sparked off my brain, to be honest. About another time. No, I feel at the moment, I guess with what's happened, I feel like this has happened, and I hope this will continue, is that we realize that how much we all need each other, because we need the hospitality, we need the fitness, we need the convenience store down the road, and coming together is so important, because if one goes, another, we've talked about it before, I guess, but on the high street, a shop goes, another one goes.
Yeah.
That affects so many things. It doesn't just affect that one place, the one person that might have been there, or the few people that might have been in there. It has a knock-on effect, right?
Yeah. It's a house of cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't want it to collapse. And it's, I think about a lot of the stuff that we try to do as bid board members. And I think, that it hasn't always been understood by a lot of business owners. I think that they're far more understanding of what we're trying to do. But, going back to what you said about property, I think my mindset changed a lot with that. I think there was a lot of personal development stuff I did with property, and we started that maybe 3 years ago. So I have a different business partner for property. His name's Alec. I have some other property businesses with 4 other people. So my other half, Jennifer, and then another company with three people I'm very close to, Tasha, Kelly, and Jassy. But when we started the first one, which is from our property investments, it was a complete shift, and I think I wasn't who I am now then. I wasn't. I think people would have misgivings about how they may see me in the bar, but how I was having to go to networking meetings, and I wasn't good at it. I was rubbish to start with, but it's such a critical thing. It was embarrassing to start with when I started doing property networking. I reckon the record was probably 10 toilet breaks in one event, and I probably had 8 or 9 coffees, and then there was always biscuits and sweets there, and I was constantly cramming stuff in my mouth so I wouldn't have to speak, but you have to get out your comfort zone, don't you? And you try and adapt, because if you ask my business partner for the bar and the club, Ross, I'm an absolute disaster when it comes to practical stuff. I think if you ask my family that, Christ, my brother-in-law, who's lovely, Sean, bless him, when I was in between uni and the summer holidays, he would always take me on as like a labourer for his property business. He's quite a successful property developer now. I was a disaster. I was like, he was like, "What have you painted the walls with there?" I was like, "Oh, it's white paint." It's like, that's gloss, isn't it? I was like, "I don't know. Is that not what you're meant to do?" He's like, "Gloss is for the skirting." So I was like, "Oh God!" And then he's like, "Philip, did you remember to put all the power packs on so everyone can use the drills and everything in the morning?" I was like, "No, was that important?" He's like, "Well, no one could do anything for the first 45 minutes. I was a disaster, I just, not one of my skills, but I just, what I've developed with property is working on my better skills, which is, which has become networking, which has been meeting people that aren't getting good returns from their own savings, and helping them get much better returns on their money, and what we do with that money is then buy property, add value to it, refinance it, and give them the return. And if they want to have their money back, they have their money back, or they go again. But that business is growing phenomenally. And what I would say, what I wouldn't say anymore, was I thought property was always much more positive in terms of people than hospitality. And I think we openly have said this recently. I think a lot of the independents that are on turf now together before used to focus on too much the independent business that maybe was next to them or down the road to them, when actually the focus should be on the chains. The independent businesses, we don't have the buyer power or economies of scale of these big chains. But what we do have, we have the ability to adapt and change more quickly. We're a lot more agile in that sense. And I think before we were almost like our own worst nightmare, where we weren't, we didn't have that cohesion. So we were making things more difficult for ourselves. And actually now I look at it, once we get through this, and even now with how things are now, I think we're going to be quite a force to reckon with. And I think
so. Yeah, I would put money on it. Yeah, I would put money on it, definitely. Yeah. It's just funny. I mean, it's not quite the same, but last year I just did a couple of collaborations. It wasn't martial arts, but it was yoga and so it's, I think you know Nina, actually, Nina Jenkins from Rock.
I do know this. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
Ricky, doesn't she now? Ricky and
yes,
yeah.
Paolo from Pure Lens Acupuncture. Oh my gosh, this one event, even though it's for charity, and I just feel working together, something like that, and it's like, I'm not worried if someone goes down the road there. You need that other independent.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how are you going to manage everyone if it's just you? No. So, and like I said before, I think you can really learn a lot from each other. And yeah, mate, just if everyone was, imagine they're all doing this kick-ass experience. Like everyone
offers choice, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's like, well, we did this and this happened, and we're doing this for our experience. And there's no point being the same.
No. It's funny you saying that, because I, like Paul Stevens, who owns Aquavita and 21 Club. It's funny to start with our relationship wasn't that positive. We were on the same street, and we used to have that same silly mindset. So if he was busy and I wasn't, it was, there would be, oh, why is that, and there'd be vice versa. And
normal, right?
Say again.
It's kind of normal it's like that reactive brain, I guess, and we all do it. Because I've done it. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
So he was, we were like, there would be silly things said between us to other people, like schoolboy stuff, ridiculous stuff. And then when we actually sat down and we went through it and actually, analysed the differences with our businesses. His customer base is completely different to mine. The music they play is completely different. And now what's happened is, and obviously that hasn't been able to happen since lockdown, but before lockdown, what we would do now is, say, groups that were older would come in and like, oh, house music, not really into that. Well, what do you like? Oh, well, I'd like a bit of cheese, some 80s. Before, I'm a bit embarrassed, we wouldn't have said, oh, just down there. Yeah. But now it's, oh yeah, if you just go down there, speak to Paul. And we got to a stage where we'd agreed, like a, not code word, but like kind of a deal, where if we suggested they go down and say to Paul, and if they spoke to I said they come from Coco, then it wouldn't be like a kickback for us, but it would be a kickback for the customer. Yeah, they would get a shop drink or a double for the price of a single. And Paul and the team at 21 Club, and that includes Tom Norrie, who's great. We've worked together on that, and it's crazy, isn't it? If you think that way, like you said about that chimp mindset with the chimp paradox, it doesn't get you anywhere, and you have to think with more clarity and more reason, and you have to step back and think, is the decision I'm making here, is it useful? I think, like, this is a really weird example. I used to get really annoyed and frustrated with speaking to people in call centers, and I was always rude. I'm not a rude person, but I would just get so annoyed by the time you waited 38 minutes. And it wasn't until my missus Jennifer, she said, she used to work in a call center, and she's like, people don't like it, like, when you do that and you're not actually getting anywhere. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, what? I'd finished the call. I'd been on a call for 40 minutes. I've been angry for 40 minutes. This poor person I've spoken to, I've not sworn at anything, but I've been rude. I've been completely unnecessary. They don't control the policy, and that transgresses to what we've just said about what's happened with the government and the curfew. It is what it is, and the police, bless them, they have a difficult job where some people don't agree with it, and they're running into confrontation from some businesses about finishing on time. But they don't set the law. I'm sure a lot of those the police officers, if they were asked, they wouldn't agree with it. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. What it is, and you just got to look at the most positive way to manage it.
The hand we've all been down. We just got to play the cards with whatever it is. Yeah, definitely. So when did the movers and shakers start? Was that one of the ones you started in during COVID, or was that been around for what?
Movers and Shakers has been around for about 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
So that first started. Christ, we were asked by someone if we could do some drinks at a wedding, and then that grew. because the wedding venue we worked with for that first event was called Berkeley Castle, and they liked what we did. We liked what we were able to offer, and so we were obviously a smaller business. We wanted to try and differentiate ourselves from other events companies, and so we started to focus on businesses that were in the Cotswolds, were really beautiful, prestigious venues, but tended to use a lot of agency staff for wedding events. Now, these were opulent venues that it's quite expensive places to get married, and the customers had discerning needs in terms of the types of cocktails they wanted, the menus that they wanted access to, the products they wanted, and they weren't able to facilitate this. So we started working with a lot of these venues to provide the tools to do it. So we would have a slot. We wouldn't do the drinks for the whole night, but we'd maybe do welcome drinks, and maybe a 200-person wedding would have two cocktails each. We would take care of that, and then the rest of the night would be facilitated by their bar. Now, no disrespect to agency staff. Some of these people that work there, they're coming in, they want to earn money, but maybe they haven't had the years of experience behind the bars that maybe I have or some of the team has. So expecting them to come in and being given half an hour before they start to be shown where stuff is, how to use the till, maybe pour a pint, but then to expect them to make good quality mojitos or other cocktails, have knowledge about which whiskey goes with that cheese and things like that. It wasn't something they could do. So that started us off quite well. And then we then grew and we started getting asked to do the whole wedding, and we started collaborating with some really, really excellent events companies. Napier Catering, for instance, they're amazing caterers that we work closely with, we partner with. Cotswold Chic is another caterers that we work with closely, and actually helping us with the event that we've got this coming Saturday and Sunday under the Prom. County Marquees, phenomenal, great team, really good people, and we're quite proud to work with these different businesses, and a lot of them, again, similar to what I've experienced with Turf, have been in the game for a lot longer, have some serious contacts, know what they're doing, so organized and systemized, and it's made us improve what we do, because I remember the first one we worked together with County Marquees. The owner, she's like, so I've done the schedule, this is happening at this time, that time, when are you coming? I'm like, I don't know, whenever. It should no. You got to be there at this time, because if you bring the bar after them, then you won't be able to get it in, and then it's going to be difficult for us. It was so many more things to consider. But yeah, Moves and Shakers has been for about 4 years. But something Jennifer and I, my partner, started during lockdown was a business called Cash for Clutter, and
right, I've seen
yeah,
go on, yeah.
So she Jennifer, bless her, she was furloughed quite quickly into lockdown. It did stress her out, and she was a bit down about it, and we talked about what we could do, because she'd been promised quite a large pay rise. Obviously that went, and then from expecting a substantial pay rise to then having 20% less than you usually earning, and not knowing where she would be with her job, it was awful. So I said, look, let's work on how we can make that money back. And so we started looking at what we had in the house that we could sell on eBay. So she started selling stuff that, Christ, I had pairs of trainers I'd never worn, and she had clothes and all sorts of stuff, stuff that you just, oh yeah, I might wear it, but you're not going to wear it if you haven't worn it in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's gone.
No, exactly. And so she started selling it, and within a couple of weeks she made a grand and a half. It was, it's incredible. Yeah. So I said to her, look, let's look at what we could do now with this. And I said, have you noticed any trends? She's like, yeah, size 16 and up sells really quickly. Certain brands sell really quickly. So she started making contact with Boohoo and Pretty Little Thing, because she read, I think it was either on Instagram or in a magazine she had, that they're not allowed to resell what you return. And most people, particularly women, no disrespect to women, will get 5 or 6 different sizes and only keep one of the items because they can do free returns. Because it's been returned, you're not allowed to resell that, or they aren't. So what they weren't allowed to do is a wholesaler can buy it from them in bulk. So Jennifer, she'd set up a relationship with Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, these suppliers of these type of brands, where she was buying 50 or 100 kilos at a time of return items 20 pence the pound or so. Getting in, spending ages. You know, she's in our dining room. I say dining room. We've got a small 2 up, 2 down. But so in the room that we have as a dining room, she's created this like area where we've got a couple of mannequins, different lighting. She's upgraded her phone to take different pictures, and she's basically been selling all these items that she had purchased from these suppliers that couldn't sell on the product. And it's incredible. We've reinvested a lot of the money. We've paid for some courses in Forex, some more property training. I've paid for a master, my level 3 WSE course for wine. We've put some money into gold. We've invested in some other bits and bobs, and now we're saving up a pot from that. And it's incredible. Like, anyone could do this. And I was reading a statistic that on eBay that every household is about £4,000 worth of stuff. So we started this at the start of April, and we've turned over nearly £16,000 since then. You know, and
wow,
you know what I mean. And what, you know, the thing is, like she said, she's like kept her mind occupied.
yeah.
But also built up a pot of money that we've then put aside in savings. And what our goal is with that now is, by end of March next year, we want to have a pot that is substantial enough to use as a deposit to buy a property in the company we have together. Because we've got, in our particular, so I've got 20 buy-to-lets in total, but in our company together we've got 4. But I was like, wouldn't it be an amazing thing? You know, because what people are always, well, I can't start property because I haven't got capital, and they're not confident about maybe using an investor. But wouldn't it be amazing if everyone could do that same thing? You know, sell stuff that they don't have. And I guarantee you, so many people will have things that will sell, and you'll be so surprised what sells, because everything sells. There are, you know, I think it's like nearly 1 billion eBay users across the world. Someone somewhere is going to like what you've got, you know, whether it's T-Rex miniatures or shoelaces, or I don't know, edible straws. You know, someone out there will want what you've got. And I just think it'd be an amazing thing and an achievement for us if we can have that pot and buy a property with that money that she's the driving force behind it. I'm the monkey that does the replies and puts all the parcels together and takes them. She's the clever one who does all the listings and the really cool photos.
Well, I've seen some of the photos, like, oh my god, it's like, what's going on here? It's like bags and bags. Yeah, oh my god, it's amazing. Do you think you guys would have done that had there not been that situation of the lockdown? It seems like it's been a bit of a blessing in that respect.
I think so. I think we definitely got closer as a couple in this time. I think for some people, some couples, it hasn't been a good time. You know, we like all couples, you know, we have our moments. We're quite a combustible pair, you know, but I think, no, we wouldn't have done it. It would have just sat up there and festered, and we wouldn't have done anything with it. But we have done something with it, and I think it's a positive thing. And I think for her as well, as I say, it wasn't just the money, but you know, she would spend 30 hours at least a week doing all the photos, putting everything, creating a system to box everything up, and you know, she got spreadsheets upon spreadsheets of where all the data is now, and she knows what she bought stuff for and then sold it for. And then what we've changed to now is helping people who have things in their house that will sell. You know, maybe not confident enough to do it, or maybe they just don't want to do it. And we take the stuff from people, we sell it for them, and then we split the return between us, and that's worked really well. We've got, I think, 28 clients that we do that for.
We got to talk then.
we can definitely do it. We can definitely do it.
Yeah, no time.
Yeah, we're starting to get to a stage where our loft is a bit too full, but that was just encourage us to try and sell more quickly. You know, it's just
we can talk twice then, because I might have some space, but that's another story.
Okay, that's it.
No, I think that's really inspiring. Actually, it's reminding me, I've been encouraged to go on TikTok, Phil.
I've never used it. I've never used TikTok.
Well, we'll talk after.
Okay.
And I caught something on there the other day, and this lady got an Instagram account, but she's basically trading from, you know, like a hairpin.
Yep.
So she's trying to get a house out of a hairpin.
Wow.
Trading stuff in, and she's already she's I think in a few days she got to an Xbox, a couple of laptops just from trading and something. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. There's loads of them followers on this thing, but
That's
yeah,
so
I'll
impressive.
talk on that.
That's so impressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
just think what you can do, you know. And as I say, we were very worried. And you know, there's still worry about what's happening with hospitality industry and the businesses that I have. You know, not all the businesses that I have are pots of money that we have access to. Two businesses that I have, the money, my percentage in those businesses goes to causes that I care about, and I don't intend to change that. You know, so that isn't going to change. So I've had to just focus on different ways of making things work for us. But that for me is really cool. And it's really cool seeing her do it. And sometimes I get told off because I don't reply as quickly as I should do to some people. and I don't get the parcels done quickly enough in the morning. But that aside, she's been, you know, incredible with it. And you know, I think it's really cool. I think it's made her more independent, having that mindset of things. It's made this time she hasn't wasted the time. Now whatever people choose to do with the time is their choice. You know, in lockdown, you know, obviously we were doing stuff to the house. She spent a lot of time learning how to further her understanding of property. Obviously done all this stuff with eBay. She's been working hard to find us new investors. And you know, now we're working on foreign exchange trading, of course, as well. So, you know, she hasn't wasted that time, you know. And I think, you know, as I say, everyone's entitled to do what they want to do with it. But I think she's used that time really constructively. And I think if you do it constructively, I remember when I was at uni, Christ, like two of my very good friends, Terry and Alex, Terry Lee and Alex Lund, they're both super successful guys. You know, we're very fortunate. We've all, you know, things have gone our way in life. But if you'd met us at uni, we were disasters. You know, we were constantly playing computer games for hours on end. You know, or, you know, always on the piss, not really holding down jobs that well. Feel for those poor employers that we used to, you know, not really respect enough. Not because we wouldn't be nasty people, but just we're more like kids than adults when we were students. And I just think how much time I spent playing computer games and things like that. And it's funny, when lockdown came, Jennifer, she's like, oh, should we get a PlayStation? I was like, yeah, Christ, yeah, we'll get it. We've got a few games. I kid you not, we played it maybe 1 or 2 days. We maybe played a couple of hours. Yeah, it's collecting dust since, and it's definitely going to be one of the next things that we sell on eBay. You know, but you know, we're just like, I don't have the same. I'd much prefer to do something that's constructive, or learn, you know, or read, or do something like that. You know, don't get me wrong, I like my downtime. I like watching Netflix. I like watching movies and series and things like that. But I find I'm less stressed. I find I'm more positive. And I can reframe and think about things if I'm doing something constructive. If I like, as I say, when we had that couple of days where we were doing Crash Bandicoot of all games, and literally we played it. I'm like, oh, kind of feel a bit guilty. I've been playing that, and I was like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like if I complete that game, like I don't really know what I'm achieving by doing that. As fun as it was, I've got no intention of really doing that. It's funny, isn't it? Your priorities change over time, don't they?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, it's different when you're younger anyway. So
yeah.
And I guess as life changes as well, the things that our minds are focused on. But I'm saying I have to. If I'm walking into the studio, I've generally got like an audio book on or a podcast. I need that information going in. Otherwise, if I don't, then I know it. I'll start going. It's almost like I'm going backwards, really.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think filling yourself with the positive things like that really, really helps.
Yeah.
You know, I set myself a goal of reading a book a week last year, and I did get 52 books done. The first 6 months, I think it was only 14 I did, so that I left quite a lot to do. But now, you know, with audiobooks or a book, I like to always be consuming something or other that I get value from. And I think it just changes my way of thinking. It makes me think more positively. Especially like inspirational people, you know, like I recently read Warren Buffett's The Snowball, and what an incredible investor and person he is, and You know, people like that. I think he's in his 90s now, and he still works 5 days a week, but not like a normal 9 to 5. He's up at the crack of dawn and doing what he does. And I don't know. I just think if I feel a better person when I've got something to focus on. I feel better in myself. I feel more confident. I've got more purpose when I'm doing things like that. You know,
it has a knock-on effect to everyone. You know, as a business owner, anyway, there's people not relying on you, but we're responsible for people that work for us, really. So it has a knock-on effect. And
I agree.
Yeah, I think anyone, even if it's just part-time, they want to see we want to see growth, and I think people want to be. I'd be so proud to be working for you next weekend under the prom.
With me, if you're working with
you, with you. It just sounds like what.
Respectfully, I've always felt like I worked at one place, one of my first ever jobs, before I had my first proper job, and the guy was always, "You work for me," and he was quite belittling. He wasn't a nice chap, and I don't mean that you would use that in that same way. But I always prefer to say work with. I think, you know, I think it's a much more positive way of, you know.
I think I think when people can, I'm really privileged with my team, because I said to them recently, it's not mine anymore, and maybe that was my mindset. I don't know, but it's theirs as much as mine. And we had a few disasters. We had a roof leak and a flipping pipe. Oh, it was my flight. We had a pipe burst as well, and I didn't even have to ask, and they were there. But not just that. It's everything. So it's almost they treat it as much their own. I think it's not easy to get that in a team, but I got a great book for you. It's called The Ice Cream Maker.
Okay.
I can't remember the author, but it is all about the ice cream maker. I think it's great for hospitality anyway.
Okay, writing it down. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, I'll find the author after and I'll send it over. But
thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. It's about an ice cream making factory and how they're not doing so great, and then guy meets with a consultant, whatever, and gives them some advice, and it's how the whole team then comes together, and they're trying to get in, this higher end ice cream. It's done, I think it's done fictional, but very, very, very good. And it just, that's just so thinking from the client's point of view, also from the people that work there point of view. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's a really nice way to think about it. Is it a true story as well?
I don't think so. It's kind of written like that, but anyway, it's a good book. It's a great, you'd probably read that in a day.
Yeah, has it got that kind of like that same type of feel that, say, maybe I'm trying to think. I've got a couple of books here. It sounds like it's got that like The Alchemist type feel, where it's like it's a story, but it wants to lead you towards thinking in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'll have to put that on my list. So. All right, that's it. Oh my God, it's been nearly an hour. Thank you so much for coming on. Just to finish up, remind me a little bit more about what's happening next Saturday. So it's daytime. Because I've seen the posters, like, wow, who does your posters? I want that person. They're amazing. So it's a little bit Alice in Wonderland.
Well, the poster, the graphics have been created by my business partner Ross. He's incredibly talented with all the graphics that we do with the bar, the club, movers and shakers. We're very fortunate that we have him to create these things. The idea behind it, we all got together and then we kind of storyboarded what we were going to do, met with the caterer, but then he went with that idea. What we're doing is an afternoon tea inspired event. We've got a fantastic caterer called Cotswold Chic who've created some really unusual food items. Under the Promise nightclub, it's not a restaurant, so we've factored in that it needs to be, finger food. We've got a variety of different finger foods, and it's created, and the way that the food is presented is really clever and creative. What we've also factored in is, a lot of the people that are booked are women. And they don't want it to be messy. They don't want to have to keep washing their hands. So we factored that in with our food choices. We've worked on some really cool cocktails that are included. So our package is £30 per person. With that, it is your food, a welcome cocktail for the group, so it's like a group cocktail, and then there is a cocktail menu that has a number of different call options that are themed around the afternoon tea theme. So one of them being a jam sour. I can't give away too much information.
Okay, fair one, fair.
I'm telling, you know, but I don't want to spoil about what we put together to make that call. But yeah, so that's included, the food's included, the drinks included. We've got a really relaxed vibe, you know, cool background music that is within government guidelines, of course.
Yeah.
The team are really excited about, you know, doing that. We've got some more training with them on Tuesday to go over how we're going to deliver that. You know, it isn't what we're used to doing, so we're going to, you know, it'll be testing, I'm sure. But I think the key for us, what I looked at with what people are offering, and I think bottomless brunches and things like that are fantastic. But what I've found with some venues that I've gone to, you often go there and you don't know what's happening, you don't know where you're getting your first drink from or where the food's coming from. So the way that this is set up is when people arrive, their first drink and the food is already ready there. You know, and that for me is a big thing. I think that service sometimes with bottomless brunches, I almost get the feeling sometimes, particularly the chain venues, and I'm not going to name the chains, but I feel that they want you to come for a bottomless, but then they don't want you to drink like a bottomless. Yeah, and it'll always be like this malaise between when you're served, you know, and I'm like, we finished that bottle, you know. I'm not a reprobate with my drinking, you know, well sometimes, but I'm not like a complete mentalist. And I'm just like, well, why advertise it as that if you're not prepared to provide it as X, you know? Now this event isn't bottomless, but it's all themed around as a tea party. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited about it. The venue is differently propositioned to normal. We're excited to have people come in. The food is fantastic. I'm very confident about what we're going to be doing with these drinks and cocktails as well. You know, I'm excited for people to come and see what we're trying to do. I'm confident it's going to be a success. So, you know,
I'm just hearing about it. I remember when you posted about it. That sounds bloody amazing. That does. I thought. So no, it sounds amazing. I wish you all the best with it. And I know it's great. Yeah, I think it's a theme you could probably sell on to other venues and stuff. So,
patent pending, Matt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The intention is to get some of you guys from the bid to come and have a table on me or so, and just get your feedback. You know, get people within the industry to give them the feedback on how they think we're delivering what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think. Well, even stateside, I'm sure they would buy up for that. So
yeah, well, watch this space. There'll be plenty of photos after the weekend.
Yes,
I'm sure lots of positivity about what we've done. Yeah, we're really excited about delivering something different. And as I say, it's been, you know, yes, it would have been really nice to have continued doing what we were doing with these private parties, because that's what we know how to do. Yeah. But we weren't allowed to do that. We've had to change. It has been an incredible amount of work to get to the stage we are now. I'm only hoping that tomorrow these changes that have been promised by Boris don't mean that we can't go ahead with it. But anyway, if we do, then we'll just go back to the drawing board again. But I think even if that does happen, I think it is something actually we will add to our business model. Whereas before we would only be open from 10 till 6 in the morning. Now we're going to have other things going on. The business will become multifunctional. So hopefully in the long term, yes, we'll suffer on the short term, but long term, hopefully our business will be stronger than before.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. So
indeed.
Yeah. No, I think that's so positive for the future, definitely. And there's, again, it's just finding finding those positives. So
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, I'll speak to you in just a sec, but thank you so much for coming on.
Nice one, Matt.
Pleasure, mate. I've learned loads. I've probably gone on for ages. I'll try not to hold you up too much in a bit.
No.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you've got any questions, drop a comment below, and Philip can get back to you. But get along to the under the prom. That just sounds amazing. Oh, how many spaces you got left?
For Saturday, we've got about 35 spaces left. Sunday, we've got a few more, but I anticipate we'll probably be fully booked by Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely. Get in there quick.
Thank you,
Matt. Thank you. Everyone, I'll see you next week. Thank you. Peace, love. Bye-bye. I'll speak to you.
Thank you.